Matt.
Ange, I'm going to ask a question about you now. You'll see why I've made that mistake. Apologies. The last Spurs manager to win the Manager of the Month was also in August. He was sacked in November. Are you aware of how things quickly can change? And also, do you feel like you're in a honeymoon period? Because we've got like everyone saying they love you, Spider-Man saying they love you, Gareth Bale saying he wanted to play for you, Bobby Williams is singing songs about you. And you must feel on top of the world. But
I don't know what are you married?
I am.
I don't know what your honeymoon was like, but mine didn't have me losing the greatest player in the history of this football club on the eve of the transfer window, me trying to scramble to get players into the club, fighting for everything I do, mate. That's not what my honeymoon was very relaxed and stress-free and very enjoyable. And I'm well aware after 28 years of the pitfalls of management, mate, trust me. I've gone into this with my eyes wide open, so if you think that I'm kind of floating along thinking that everything's going to be smooth, but at the same time, there's a reason that this is happening, you know. There's a reason I think people aren't doing it just from the goodness of their heart. They're obviously encouraged by what they see. And I'm not going to dismiss that because that's what we're trying to do, create a football club that, you know, the supporters are excited about, that other people are talking about. So, you know, I'm not, I take that as encouragement to keep going down this way. So, but, you know, I don't, at the same time, you know, I don't sit here and think that this has come to me and been served on a platter. We've worked hard, mate. Yeah, worked really hard. It's been a really tough period. Nothing like my honeymoon.
Are you a kind of guy though who, when things are going well, which they are at the moment, do you look for where the pitfalls might come, or do you enjoy it as it happens?
Things have been going well my whole career. You know, like I've had a lot of success. So, and through that all, I've just focused on one thing, and that is, you know, are my team playing the football I want? Are we training in the way I want? Is the environment the way I like it? And that's what I'm constantly looking at, you know, irrespective of, you know, the short term where there may be challenges because the results aren't there, or the results are there. The demeanour, you know, fairly even in sort of my temperament in dealing with it the same way, and saying just the radar's always up, because, you know, like I said, when things aren't going well, your radar's up to see, well, you know, are guys going to respond in the right way? Are they, you know, is there something we're missing here? You know, so, and when things are going well, you're looking, well, are guys, you know, are we at the edge we need to be? Are we sort of getting complacent? So it doesn't change the scenario for me. You know, I think, like I said, if you have any sort of longevity in the game, you kind of know that all these things you need to treat with equal sort of measure in terms of not having too many extremes in your reactions to the one way or another. And I think if you do that, then the people you work with and the people you're around tend to follow that lead.
That's
right.
Where did you go on your honeymoon?
We did a nice trip of Europe, the usual places, a bit of Paris, a bit of Venice, a bit of Athens. My wife lost her luggage, which meant she had to obviously go and replace that, and then the luggage turned up anyway, so it cost me a fortune, but it was wonderful. A long time ago.
How do you not have a pecking order with your goalkeepers when if you only pick one, there's usually one on the bench? Does that not become a pecking order?
Well, I mean, but then you're saying that never changes. Like, that can change. It won't change if people are performing, of course, but nothing's cast in stone. Nothing's, you know, I don't go in there and say, well, here's my first 11 and that's it for the rest of the year unless something happens. It's like every week, every day there's a challenge for them to constantly be at their best, or else, you know, somebody will take their place. So that's I just don't think that's the way you kind of set up a team environment to say that, you know, this is going to be cast in stone for the rest of the time. You know, things change all the time. What if we get an injury tomorrow?
Even with keepers?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. course. Why not? I mean, Vic's earned the right to be number one. His performances have been outstanding. So if he continues in that manner and keeps pushing, and I think having Fraser there and now Hugo there, and he's going to be making sure that, you know what, every day, I mean, Fraser's been outstanding. Like training, he's been unbelievable in the way he's been training, and he was unlucky in the Fulham game. You know, he had a good game there as well. So that's what I want. You know, everyone, because that's what they want. They want to be pushed every day to be the best they can be.
Tom?
Hi Ange. I remember listening to a podcast you did when you were Yokohama manager, and you were talking about how the first 6 months at a club was often quite rocky because you keep trying to change so many things, and you quite enjoy that period. But from the outside here, looking in, just, you know, given that you've lost Harry Kane and what happened on the tour with missing a match because of rain, it doesn't look like it's been rocky at all. What's different this time?
It just seemed like a honeymoon, doesn't it, mate? It's still rocky, mate. It's just, like I said, you know, I think people get swayed, and it's only natural, by outcomes, right? So at Celtic, I lost 3 of our first 6. At Yokohama, we were battling relegation. But I can tell you that the same sort of building stuff that I did in those 2 places I'm doing here. The only difference is, mate, you know, the results have been better, yeah, for sure, encouraging, for sure. But it's still, you know, I love this period because there is pretty much a day-to-day uncertainty about where we're at. And that'll be here for the next, I think, yeah, probably 6 months, probably a year. You know, everywhere I've been the second years where I felt like, okay, the team's now really taken hold, you know. But I also understand at this football club I can't go 3 or 4 or 5 months without having results because I won't last. I mean, that's the reality of it. It was the same at Celtic. You know, like I said, we lost 3 out of the first 6. I kind of knew if we were going to be champions, we couldn't lose another game for the rest of the year. I knew that. We didn't. But it didn't make that easy. It doesn't make this easier than the others. This has been just as challenging. You think about our pre-season. I mean, some of you are on the trip. It wasn't smooth, mate. You know, you think about the players we've had to get in and out in this short period of time. It hasn't been easy. You know, new staff, new way of training, new way of playing. But I love it. And I think because I love it, people seem, you know, think that maybe it's easy. It's not. But that's okay. That's a challenge I took on. And if you measure on outcomes, yes, this looks like it's been smoother than the others, but I can assure you it's been just as challenging, if not more challenging, because of the stakes here, you know, in the Premier League.
So by that rationale, as good as the results have been so far, would you expect that in a year's time, if it all goes well, you're still here, hopefully, based on what you've had in your previous clubs, that it should be even better than it is now?
Absolutely, it has to be. Otherwise, no point in me being here. Has to be. Wherever I've started, I've always tried to finish. Like I said, you know, all the clubs I've stayed for, you know, there's probably 5 clubs in my career where I've had more than sort of a year. The second years have been the years where everything, because then the players already know kind of how we train, the staff are comfortable, we drive the environment, and you can see that me as a manager, I kind of slowly can allow people to take more and more sort of responsibility, autonomy in the way we play, and then they drive it, which then you know can really accelerate. That we're still miles away from that. You know, I've still got firmly my hands on the wheel, mate. Won't let go for quite a while.
Just one final question about Destiny Doggy. I mean, he's someone that Spurs fans have been really impressed by, and probably wider fans have, because of the impact of yourself and Maddison, maybe have slightly gone under the radar maybe. He's new to the league, very young, but he seems so mature for his age already. What has impressed you most about him, and are you surprised with how quickly he's having an impact?
He's been great. I mean, and you know, there's another one for your point. You know, we start off the season with Destiny playing his first Premier League game. Mickey van der Veen had 2 training sessions playing his first Premier League game. Vicario playing his first Premier League game, all starting, you know, in a back 4, back 5. But, you know, within that context, you give guys the platform, the opportunity, and hopefully the belief that will support them, and you get these outcomes. But, you know, that's still a challenge to do that. And I think with Destiny and Mickey and probably, you know, Papa Sar's probably another one in that boat, as 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, is to say to them, well, look, you're not going to be judged on your performance in these early games, not by me. So just go out there and play, you know. And I think they've embraced that. They've enjoyed that. They've enjoyed that freedom and belief that, you know, there was nothing that was going to happen out there that was going to say to me that they're never going to, you know, they're never going to be a player at this football club because I was putting them out there. But, you know, for them, it's not easy, like just putting them out there in the Premier League and that, like I said, with that kind of, it wasn't just one I was putting in, it was 3 or 4. And, you know, we spoke about it as a coaching staff. You know, for that first team selection, it could have been easier to go safer, absolutely. But we needed to change, and we needed to challenge things. And, you know, guys like Destiny and Mickey and, you know, these players who, you know, have not just gone in there and sort of found their feet, they've just gone in there and tried to smash it, and that's what I want.
We've got somewhere else we need to be very shortly, so we're just going to rattle through the last few. Darren, do you want to?
Yeah. Can you play for Charleston tomorrow? And can you give the reasons for, or if you're not going to give?
No, he'll be involved. He'll be involved. Yeah, he trained today, and he's, you know, he's fine. He looks fine. Like I said, you know, we'll provide all the support he needs, and you know, and we'll try and, you know, help and sort of guide him to be in a place where he's, you know, happy about himself. But he'll be involved tomorrow, absolutely.
A lot of things said about you, but just flip it around in terms of the perception of the club. When your predecessor left, there'd been a lot of uncertainty and concerns around Harry leaving. Do you believe there is such a thing as an impossible job?
No, well, I don't think there is. I mean, I like the fact, like I think I said last week, that, you know, that was probably the biggest enticement for me to come here, was the fact that, you know, it seems like a real difficult challenge. I wouldn't say impossible, because it can't be impossible, because when you look at the facilities, you look at the resources this club has, you look at the footballers this club has, it can't be impossible. Is it difficult? Yes. You know, do you? But like I keep saying, you can't just then roll up and not change things and not be different and then expect a different outcome. So my role within that is to, okay, well, I've taken on this challenge, so I'm going to do it in a way that hasn't been done before, and take it down a totally different road. Now, like you said, they may end up in a road again where we don't get anywhere, and again, that's on me that I've taken them. But I don't think, I really don't think it's impossible. I think there'd be, you know, managers out there with clubs who have got a hell of a lot more challenges than this football club has, who'll be looking at me and saying, I wish I had his job, you know, with the facilities we have, the footballers I have, the resources I have. So it's all a matter of perspective. So do I believe it's a difficult challenge? Yeah, because when a big football club doesn't win something for a long period of time, there's obviously things that need to be done differently. But I think it's far from impossible. And I enjoy the fact, the harder it is, I love being in that space.
Just two very quick final questions. How many windows do you think you will take for this season?
It depends on the development of the players within this context. We've got a lot of sort of young players, so if they develop really quickly, probably not too much. It just depends how we develop. But I definitely think we need at least 2 more windows to get to a space where I think, okay, we're, as a squad, because don't forget, obviously, this year we're out of the Carabao Cup now, and we've got no European football, so the fixtures are a little bit kinder to us between now and Christmas. But that, you know, that's not our aim. We want to have games. You know, we want to be in Europe. We want to be in cup competition. So we're going to need a stronger squad. And I don't think we're anywhere near that point. We've got a robust enough squad at the moment. So I think it'll take at least a couple of windows, and then after that, it just depends on, like I said, the development of some of our players. If they develop quickly, then hopefully it's just fine tuning in the next couple of windows. But it may mean we've still got significant work to do.
Just I've been to a few press conferences. You made reference to the 28 years of management. You know, a short story. So can you tell us when things haven't started well? Because you're very assured, and obviously plans like you're straight talking. Have there been times when things haven't been so good and you have been, I think that's the
Yeah, no, look, like I said, I think every club, like my first job, 1997, I took over South Melbourne, the club I played for. I was 30 years old. I quit my job at the bank. We started the season and I woke up on the morning, I think, of the 4th or 5th game. It's a long time ago, so memories. And
Sorry, Ange, what were you doing at the bank? What was you
I was a bank teller, mate. Yeah. God, what a bad job. I hate it every day. If you ever want perspective, like, that's the only thing that's driven me my whole career. I never wanted to go back to that. You know, it was our 5th game, and I remember waking up, and I remember if we lost that game, it would have been, you know, last on the ladder. And the club I took over was the biggest club at the time, and we won that game, a scrappy game. We won 1-0. Somebody tells a story, there was supposed to be a board meeting that night, but our president, who's a pretty smart cookie, said he was sick and there was going to be a vote of confidence in me apparently, and they didn't have it, and then we went on the rest of the year and we finished it well. So, you know, I was, you know, Brisbane, my first year, same thing. Yokohama, like I said, we just avoided relegation my first year there. Now, all these things you can look at and say, geez, you're a lucky bugger because, you know, people stuck by you. But I'd like to think that people didn't stick by me because I was lucky. They saw something there that they didn't want to miss out on. And every one of those clubs, Celtic the same, they all got rewarded, you know, with that show of faith. So, like I said, all the beginnings have been difficult. I haven't had one that's been smooth. But when I reflect on it, they're the stories I tell. I don't tell the stories of us winning things. They tell themselves. I love telling the stories of the beginnings and the honeymoon periods that I have.
Okay, we're going to have to leave it there, I'm afraid, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.